A few weeks ago, I had another chance to play Final Fantasy XVI. Unlike the previous time I played, this hands-on preview gave me a better idea of what to expect from the full game on release. This is because it showcased what seemed to be the opening hours of the story. In this video, I will be changing things up a bit. Instead of focusing on pure information, this video will be more of a walkthrough that focuses on the gameplay. In my previous video, I went into a lot of detail about the game and my experience after playing it for the first time. If you haven't seen that video yet, I recommend watching that after this one. I wasn't able to record gameplay for it myself, so the footage being shown right now was provided by Square Enix, but it's exactly the same as what I experienced while playing for myself. To avoid spoilers, I'll only show short clips of the story from the beginning of the game, and I won't go into too much detail about what's happening. I'll also mainly be showing up-to-date footage, but I will be showing some previously released gameplay when referring to something that I don't have any new or up-to-date footage for. This will allow you to get a general idea of the story without giving away any major plot points. The first few hours of the story introduces the player to the world of Final Fantasy XVI, its characters, and its worldview. One thing that they really drive home as soon as the game begins is how important the social standing and hierarchy of people is within this world. The game begins with the protagonist Clive sitting by a campfire. His branded face indicates that he is the property of another person or nation, and his current purpose is to fight for them. At this point in the game, Clive is working with a group of other branded fighters who have been assigned a mission in a dangerous war zone. I was able to take control of Clive as the game seamlessly transitioned between various cutscenes and gameplay sections, which eventually led to a confrontation between Shiva and Titan on the battlefield. Their battle created destruction on a massive scale, which results in Clive being knocked unconscious during the chaos. From that point onwards, I was able to take control of a teenage Clive and play through a flashback of his youth.
Well, if you're not cut out to be a shield, there's always work for you in the stables. Unless, of course, you think you can defend your master while sat on your arse in a puddle of pig swill.
I'm sure he'd find a way. My brother always looks after me. Right?
Go on. You're sure to hit him eventually.
Don't give up now.
Two arms, then. It wouldn't do to disappoint the gallery.
This portion of the game functioned as a tutorial and an introduction to the world. Clive is the firstborn son of the Archduke of Rosaria, and his role is to protect his frail younger brother Joshua, who commands the power of the Phoenix. While playing as young Clive, I was able to explore a few places within the town. I could find and collect items, and I was able to talk to people or listen in on their conversations in order to get a better understanding of current events. This was a very story-focused portion of the game, so it was fairly linear, so I was always being guided towards the next objective. Eventually, Clive's father Elwyn, who is the Archduke of Rosaria, has a request for Clive.
Is the situation truly so grave?
Come to the throne room. We will talk there.
Yes, Father. Your Grace.
Shields dismissed!
With assistance from Sir Tyler and Sir Wade, who are also Shields of Rosaria, Clive is given a task within Stillwind Marsh, a swampland that is infested with goblins and ogres. While traveling through the area, Sir Tyler and Sir Wade fight alongside Clive as party members, but this journey eventually leads to an encounter with a Morbol.
Keep clear of its maw, my lord. That thing's breath is worse than its bite. away from its mouth!
Soon after this battle, Clive returns home, and after some time passes, we are shown the disastrous events that lead to the downfall of Rosaria, and the reason why Clive is on his path for revenge. The story is often described as a roller coaster by the development team, and now I have a better idea of what that actually means. Things were constantly happening that kept me engaged, so it felt like there was little downtime, which could make this a game that would be hard to stop playing since I always wanted to see what was about to happen next. But that doesn't mean that there won't be times where you can take a break from the main story and engage in some side activities. Sometime after Clive reawakens, he meets Cid and is guided to his hideaway. Cids Hideaway was the first opportunity I had to take part in some of the game's other content, since it was the first calm moment after hours of intense story moments. This location is a refuge for bearers and dominants that are shunned by the world, and have formed a community where they work and live together in a place where they can be treated as equals. Since I was still pretty early in the game, Cids Hideaway functioned as the main hub and the first area that I could visit in order to use shops, pick up quests, and to upgrade my equipment.
Does the newcomer think it proper to make demands of a poor old matron before even introducing himself?
It's Clive.
Well, Clive, I hear that dog is yours. Since he followed Cid home one night, I've seen to it that his chin's rubbed and his belly fed. Though I suppose that's your job now. Unless you lose him again.
I won't. Not again. Thank you for watching him.
So, were you gonna buy something? What? You didn't think I'd shower your lordship with my hard-won wares while you swagger about with a pocket full of gil? Life doesn't work that way, lad. Now, let's see some coin.
In the shop, I could buy new weapons, accessories, and items that could be used while I was out exploring the world or on quests. The selection of items was fairly limited, and at that point in the game, I was low on money, so I couldn't spend much without first doing quests in the area in order to get some starting funds and other rewards. It was also possible to upgrade or create new equipment at the blacksmith. In addition to being able to upgrade and customize Clive's skills, upgrading equipment at the blacksmith seems to be another key component of character progression. I could forge new equipment at the blacksmith as long as I had the recipe and the necessary ingredients. The materials needed in order to craft new equipment are dropped by enemies, or they can be found while exploring. Over time, it seems like new recipes will be added to the blacksmith, so it seems like it would be worth checking in often in order to see if something new is available. You can also increase the stats of your current equipment by reinforcing it with the required materials. There was a noticeable improvement in performance once I had a chance to test out my upgraded equipment, so I can't see myself throwing away or selling my equipment as soon as I reach the next town, which does make the equipment feel more valuable. The last time I played, I did notice that certain pieces of equipment improve the performance of specific abilities that Clive can use. So depending on how much you can upgrade a piece of equipment, you may be able to keep it for a while if it complements your playstyle. Cids Hideaway also had a training area that could be accessed through the Arete Stone. At this location, I could configure a variety of options and summon various enemies that could be used as a training dummy to test out new abilities or to practice combos. An orchestrium was also available that could be used to change the background music in the hideaway. It's been said that new songs can be obtained from orchestrium rolls that come from main quests, shops, or treasure coffers. And there were a few quests available when I first entered the area. These quests were fairly straightforward and seemed to be there just to introduce me to the characters, so I could get to learn more about their way of life in the hideaway. But the conversations were fully voiced and they did help me understand the current state of the world. Once I was ready to leave the hideaway, I could continue the main story or access new side quests by traveling to their designated areas in the world map. As you progress through the story, you'll be able to unlock more areas that you can visit and fast travel to when required. The area that continues the story is indicated by the red pin, and the areas that currently have side quests have green pins. Each of these areas can be revisited as long as there's no story reason preventing you from doing so. Apart from towns, from what I saw in the earlier portion of the game, were two other types of areas. The first being stage areas that have more of a focus on guiding you down a specific story-driven path. These areas are fairly linear, but they do have various battles and cutscenes, along with a few side paths that lead to hidden items and secrets. Open field areas allow for more exploration and give players more freedom to take part in various activities, like hunts for example, which can be undertaken after visiting a hunt board to accept a request to hunt specific enemies that seem to vary in difficulty depending on their rank. Or you can roam one of these field areas with your party members in order to battle enemies for their materials or to gain additional levels.
Stay down!
It's also possible for you to find new side quests from people that need your assistance while exploring. Here's an example of a side quest so you can see firsthand how they're accepted and how people in this world interact with those who are branded.
Here, you couldn't give me an hand, could you? Typical. A bloody bearer. Just when I thought my luck had changed. Still, better a crumb of crystal than an empty hand, I suppose. Though it pains me to use another man's branded. Here, you understand me, don't you? I need your help. These blasted birds must have caught a whiff of my cargo, and now they've got me surrounded. And it was running late as it was. I've got something special needs delivering before the rest, but I dare not leave my cart untended. You couldn't run it up to Martha's Rest for me, could you? Needs to get there quick, mind.
Fine.
That's the spirit. All right. Here. You hand that to the stable master and no one else. I'm owed a little something for it. If he gives it to you, pass it along to your master by way of thanks. Be off with you then, and don't go taking any detours on the way.
After having another chance to play Final Fantasy XVI, I'm looking forward to its release even more. But thankfully, we won't have to wait much longer since it releases in 1 month on June the 22nd. A demo is expected to be available before the game releases, so people will have a chance to try it for themselves very soon. I will be making some new videos for Final Fantasy XVI in the coming weeks, so be sure to subscribe if you want to be the first to know when those videos are available. But until I make those videos, here's another one that you might find interesting.